In this video, we're going to look at the transit layer from Gravitystorm. Now that's Andy Allen's company, and he's been manipulating OpenStreetMap data for a very long time. And he sent me a chunk of his data set, which covers London. So of course this is OpenStreetMap data, and he's recently switched to using vector tiles in his server work. And what he sent me is a chunk of his vector tiles. Now, what's interesting here is these aren't really designed for use on a mobile device. If we were to actually use these in production, I'd suggest a few changes. But they actually do work pretty well. So here we're looking at maybe level 12 or 11, and we've got everything basically but the buildings. And it's doing pretty well. There's a lot of interesting detail in here, and if we zoom it a little bit further, we should get the buildings as well. And that'll be a level 14, which sort of seems to be the standard for people doing vector tiles. That's the last level that they want to render. I would actually recommend going a level further personally if you're going to use this on a mobile device. And let's take a quick look at why. As you pan over to the edge here, you see these tiles are just kind of huge relative to the area that we're exposing. So it would make more sense, I think, to have another level. But again, these tiles were designed for rendering on the server, and it's amazing that they work so well on the mobile device. Let's look at a few features. So one of the things that I like is that he has made pretty good use of some of the dashed and dotted line possibilities here. So he's actually using these kind of I'm not sure if those are subway, I think, something like that, but he's made good use of these dashed lines with the kind of the casing, and those are implemented with a base vector, and then on top of that you've got the dotted line vector. It's interesting, that's a little inefficient for a for an OpenGL ES renderer, but it works just fine. So there's certainly something you could do. It would be more efficient to do it just in one pass, but it's not costing that much. And in Maply, I instance the vectors that are being used for that. So I'm just rendering twice for the same thing rather than having separate geometry. But anyway, that's a rendering detail. So you can see he's got all the usual good stuff here, and this map is really pretty dense down at the highest level of detail. Got all the buildings, definitely all the transit links, a lot of the labels and things like that. I don't see any very many place names, or actually I should say I don't see any place icons, but that's not really what the map is for. So as with all different sets of vector tiles, I found a few bugs when taking a look at his stuff, new ways to parse colors and things like that. So that cleared up a few bugs in the Maply renderer, but I see a few others that would be great to work on, particularly related to text layout. That's still an area that could use some work. But all in all, this actually looks rather good, and I think you could build a reputable map based on these tiles and in the Maply renderer. So again, this was just for London, and see if you zoom out a bit, you can see the London area here. So this was Gravitystorm's vector tiles, and in this case he sent me an MB tiles file that contained the individual tiles in a SQLite database rather than paging them from his server, which is another interesting test. So that's something that Maply can do as well, as page vector tiles from a static file. Anyway, this is his transit layer, and it looks pretty good. It would be great to try it out with some other styles as well.